Hello folks, Matt from Molten Magic here with another episode of Crit or Miss, and today we are diving into the very latest from Unearthed Arcana, the Arcane Subclasses. We'll start with the two brand new options, then explore 7 familiar faces sporting shiny new updates. I'll walk you through each subclass feature by feature, share top gameplay tips, and decide for each one whether it deserves a crit or a miss. Ready? Then let's crack on with this episode of Crit or Miss. We start with the new subclasses, and with that the new Tattooed Warrior, which is a monk subclass. Your skin literally becomes the canvas for raw magic. At dawn you can reshuffle your living spellbook and adapt to any challenge. At level 3 you get your magic tattoos, and you can learn 2 beast tattoos, think bat, butterfly, spider and more. You swap 1 tattoo after a long rest should you wish, and to give you a flavour of these we have the bat, which gives you the dancing lights cantrip, plus 10 feet of blind sight when you spend a focus point on patient defence or step of the wind. The crane on the other hand gives you guidance, and also advantage on follow-up strikes if you miss with a flurry of blows. Finally, the spider blesses you with mending, and whilst landing a flurry of blows hit, it imposes disadvantage on your foe's next attack. At level 6, you get access to your celestial tattoos. Choose 1 cosmic power from a list of available tattoos and spend focus points to activate certain spells. Examples include the Eclipse tattoo, where you can spend 2 focus points to cast invisibility with no components, or Sunburst, where you can use 2 focus points to cast Lesser Restoration. At level 11 you get your nature tattoos. Spend 3 focus points as an action to gain resistance and advantage on a chosen save for 1 minute. Options include the Volcano, which grants you fire resistance and advantage on strength saves, or Wave, which gives you cold resistance and advantage on your wisdom saves. Finally, at level 17 you get your monster tattoo, the big chest and back pieces in my mind. Pick 1 massive form, the Beholder, Blink Dog, Displacer Beast or Guardian Naga, for some serious arcane power. To give some examples, the Beholder grants a fly speed of 10 feet, i.e. hover, and you can spend 3 focus points to cast Counterspell. On the other hand, with the Guardian Naga, once per long rest, if you drop to 0 HP, you can stay at your feet at 2 times your monk level instead. Top tip for this subclass is to pump your wisdom score up to sharpen those tattoo save DCs, and then tailor your tattoos to patch any party weaknesses that you might have. So, crit or miss, it looks like an anime fan's dream, and magical body art and all, but I do worry it treads on the monk's martial toes. As such, it's a narrow crit from me and begs the question, what beast tattoo are you going to ink onto your next character? Next up, we have Ancestral Sorcery, obviously part of the Sorcerer class. Here you channel your storied forebears, summoning spells and skills passed down through legend. At level 3, you get access to Ancestors Lore, where you add your charisma bonus to intelligence checks and pick a proficiency from Arcana, History, Nature or Religion. At level 3, you also get your Ancestral Spells. These are always prepared at the appropriate sorcerer level. At 3rd level, you have Command, Guidance, Locate Object, Protection from Evil and Good, Resistance and Spiritual Weapon. At 5th level, Magic Circle and Spirit Guardians. 7th level, Divination and Locate Creature. 9th level, Legend Lore, and Yolande's Regal Presence. You also get access to Visage of the Ancestor at level 3, so while your innate sorcery is active, you can adopt a spectral form and gain advantage on ability checks as part of an influence action. A quick reminder here that the influence actions are a new description in D&D 2024 and focus on those out-of-combat actions to influence NPCs. Think persuasion, intimidation, etc. Moving on, at level 6 you get Superior Spell Disruption. Once per long rest while innate sorcery is active, you can cast Counterspell or Dispel magic for free. What's more, Counterspell adds disadvantage on your target's Constitution saving throw, and Dispel magic grants advantage on checks to end spells. At level 14 you get Ancestral Majesty. A 5-foot aura forces a charisma save or causes a creature to fall prone or become frightened whenever they enter or end their turn within that aura. Also at level 14 you get Steady Spellcaster. You can take damage but keep concentrating on your sorcerer spells. This is quite simply ridiculous. Finally, at level 18 you get Ancestor's Ward. While that innate sorcery is active, you gain advantage on saves versus spells, and you can turn a failed save into a success once per long rest. Top tip for this one then, pair it with heightened meta magic for absolutely relentless spell disruption. Crit or miss, the roleplay potential does sing, but the raw power and the concentration perks feel off the charts. I'm calling this one a miss. Now we move on to the updated subclasses, starting with the Arcana Domain Cleric. These priests blend arcane secrets into divine faith. Prepared spells from level 3 to 9 now include things like Detect Magic, Magic Missile, Counterspell, and the fan favourite Bigby's Hand. At level 3 you also get Arcane Initiate, which gives you expertise in Arcana, plus 2 wizard cantrips, which are swappable on a level up. Also at level 3 you get Modifying Magic. You can use Channel Divinity to fuel arcane effects, such as Fortifying Spell, which grants temporary HP, or Tenacious Spell, which imposes a penalty on a save. At level 6 you get Dispelling Recovery. Whenever you cast a heal or condition removal spell, you may use your bonus action to dispel magic. At level 17 then you get Arcane Mastery. You can learn 4 wizard spells, 1 from each level 6 to 9. These are always prepared and you can swap one at each cleric level. So a top tip for this one is to think Warcaster. It is your best friend here and you can really lean into that counter heal hybrid model. Crit or miss wise, this hybrid cleric is powerful but wonderfully versatile. Crit for me and begs the question, which wizard spell do you summon first? Next we move on to the Arcane Archer, part of the Fighter class. Elven Precision meeting Eldritch Flare across any ammunition here. At level 3 you get Arcane Archer Lore. You can know Druidcraft or Prestidigitation, and you gain proficiency in Nature and Arcana. Also at level 3 you get your first couple of arcane shot options. You can pick 2 options, more at later levels, and examples of these are Grasping Shot, which adds slashing damage and the potential to restrain, Piercing Shot as well, which ignores cover in a line. At level 7 you get Curving Shot. This is a hot take on a common homebrew rule across D&D. If you've missed your target, well, use a bonus action to fire at someone else with no ammo cost, just like Angelina Jolie in Wanted. At level 7 you also get Ever Ready Shot, where you can start combat with 1 use of Arcane Shot if you were totally out of charges. Later levels then improve your shot die from a D6 all the way up to a D12. A top tip here is to partner the subclass with the Crossbow Expert feat, letting you trigger that Arcane Shot on bonus attacks, which is really going to bolster the output here. Crit or miss, it feels like it would be more at home in the Ranger's toolkit. I'm giving it a miss, but that's just me. Which Arcane Shot are you going to test first? Now, everyone's favourite Warlock subclass, the Hexblade Patron Warlock. Your weapon is a sentient, cursed, and utterly lethal blade. Prepared spells at level 3 to 9 include Arcane Vigor, Hex, Animate Objects, and Steel Wind Strike, with some smites thrown in for good measure. At level 3 you get access to Hexblade's Curse. You can use a bonus action to curse a target with uses per long rest equal to your Charisma modifier. Bonus features of this curse then include Hungering Hex and a Cursed Shield, allowing you to gain temporary hit points on cursed enemy deaths or increase AC near cursed enemies respectively. Level 3 also gives you Unyielding Will. Once per turn on a successful con save, you explode Necrotic Power. It also allows you once per long rest to auto-succeed a failed save and gain some temporary HP. Level 6 unlocks Malign Brutality, giving you Harrowing Hex, Hindering Curse, and Inescapable Hex, which unlocks bonus attacks, save penalties, and forced movement. At level 10 we have Armour of Hexes, which you can use a reaction to halve damage from your cursed foe. And then finally at level 14 we have Masterful Hex, which means you can now crit on a 19 or a 20, there is an area burst damage on hits, plus Curse Recovery becomes available after a short rest. The top tip here is to take that Pact of the Blade, obviously, pair it with Eldritch Smite to turn yourself into a total melee terror. When we think of crit or miss on this one's definitely a personal fave. It calls back to one of my favourite NPCs from Multi-Magic Campaign 1, and the updates here only sharpen its edge. Definite crit. The last part of the Arcane subclass updates focuses on 4 of the Wizard subclasses. First up, we have the Conjurer, teleportation expert with unbreakable summons. At level 3, we get Benign Transposition, which lets you swap places with an ally, and this is now available earlier than in previous editions. We also get Conjuration Savant, and Distant Transposition boosts your teleports. Durable Summons grant summon creatures temporary HP equal to twice your wizard level. We also have Focused Conjuration, which locks your concentration on those conjuration spells. And finally, Quick Transposition turns that teleport into a bonus action or a reaction, but only for willing participants. A top tip for this one is to multi-class. A multi-class with Artificer here for those extra spell slots, and Gadgetry, which will pair up beautifully. Crit or miss then, it's a cool toolkit but not a standalone showstopper. It doesn't give me enough to want to build a character with this as the sole focus. This one's a miss. Now we have the Enchanter Wizard, the master of charms and graceful escape. Enchanting Talker adds your intelligence bonus to those social skills. Vexing Movement lets you dash and disengage after casting enchantment spells, and Enchantment Savant adds free enchantment spells to your spellbook. Reflecting Charm halves incoming damage and hurts attackers with Psychic Backlash, and you have Split Enchantment allowing you to target 2 creatures with 1 spell. Finally, Bolstering Belief grants allies bonuses after your enchantment work. Top tips for this one: chain Hypnotic Pattern with Vexing Movement for a flawless hit and run mechanism. Crit or miss, charming updates in this one that reward cunning play. I'm going to give it a crit. If there was ever a class to charm a beholder, this one's it. Next is arguably my most favourite of the Wizard subclasses and the updates to them, the Necromancer, and also one that I have a particular love for, as my first ever D&D character was an Elven Necromancer. So from Grim Harvests to Undead Legions, this class offers things like Necromancy Savant, boosting your spellbook and granting resistance to necrotic damage. You get Grim Harvest, granting temporary HP when you slay foes, Grave Power and Undead Thralls, letting you summon undead and siphon their HP as healing, Undead Secrets, offering a hefty HP buffer and a necrotic teleport burst when you are bloodied. Death's Master then finally bolsters your thralls and empowers that Grim Harvest capability. So top tip here, we have an absolute powerhouse. A Grave Domain Cleric multiclass is going to turn you into an unstoppable healer, undead commander. I'm getting Dracula Untold vibes from this one. Crit or miss, I adore this one, definitely a crit. And now, I suppose I need to decide how many skeletons to add to my undead army. Next up, and finally, the Transmuter Wizard. Bend reality like clay with your Transmuter Stone. Key features here include the Transmutation Savant and Stone Creation at level 3. Those stones can grant speed, dark vision, durability, or resistances. We then get Wondrous Enhancement, giving you the Enhanced Ability capability for free once per long rest. Split Transmutation ups the potency of your upcast transmutations. Potent Stone grants 2 benefits and lets you swap them when you cast transmutation spells. Finally, Master Transmuter consumes your stone for either the Panacea capability, Raise Dead, or Restore Youth capabilities. We need to balance intelligence and constitution for this subclass. This is critical here, so that your stone perks and your hit points grow together. Crit or miss wise, Transmuter is a slow burn that pays off at high levels. I'm giving it a crit, but only just. It's going to be a grind to unlock that stone. Get it? And there we have it, UA 2025's Arcane Subclasses, revealed and critiqued. Which one will you slot into your next saga? If this sparked your epic build, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Support Multi-Magic on Patreon for early access, catch our podcast, or join us live on Twitch and YouTube for immersive actual plays. Stay safe, we love you all, and we will see you next time. The last part of the Arcane Subclasses update then focuses on 4 Wizard subclasses. Let's try that one again. Breathe. Oh, pardon me. Fucking hell.